Hello, everyone. I am back, and today we have an incredible topic that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about how Manu took one of our clients from 40,000 a month to nearly $1 million. So we're going to be taking you on that step-by-step journey. And welcome back to an amazing podcast video. I'm Kay McKenzie. I'm a marketing consultant. I am the founder of the Women in Alignment Business Networking Community, which is a free Facebook group for women in business or female entrepreneurs to connect, build business relationships, and of course, grow their business. And of course, I have my wonderful partner here, Manu. Manu, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me again, Kay. And so, as Kay said, my name is Manu. I'm the owner of Two Side Acquisitions. We've been doing that for 10 years, scaling businesses online to beyond they can possibly imagine with automations, AI, predictability and systems.
Fantastic. So I'm really excited about today's topic because you took a client to almost $1 million. I mean, that's a dream for a lot of business owners, especially startups. They want to get to that $1 million mark. So let's get into it. I do have some questions here, guys. All right. So let's talk about your clients. So we're going to be talking about how Terry went from 40,000 a month to nearly $1 million. So where was Terry when he came to you? What was happening in Terry's business when he first came to you?
Yeah, awesome. So, look, Terry's similar to a lot of business owners that we receive, stuck at a ceiling of 40,000, like between 20, 40,000, and not going past that. Okay. And he had tried other paid ads agencies, tried other strategies, and he didn't have the results he wanted. And I think he was pretty much frustrated, not to say less, right? A 10-year business owner, stuck in a ceiling, not knowing what to do.
So what do you think was happening with Terry when he was stuck? He was at a ceiling, he was at 40K. What was happening? What do you think that key challenge was or that limitation was?
Right, that's a great question. So, look, Terry, as a lot of business owners, started a long time ago. And when we started, and I was there too, like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 5 years ago, it was easier than it is now, right? So you would put something out with a more or less landing page with not a lot of branding, not a lot of messaging and good communication, it would convert. When iOS 14 came, we saw the first changes in the online environment in terms of these results that we were perceiving before. Things started to get harder. So Terry was that business owner. He came from a very good golden period that we call, and then with the changes, he couldn't adapt to the new market changes, to the new regulations, to the new environment that we are seeing right now in business, right now in the world.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people, who are marketing their businesses online, they share that same experience as Terry. They're at a limitation. They can't seem to get past a certain limitation. All right. So Terry had a system in place. There were some changes, especially with COVID. I'm not sure if this was pre-COVID or,
Yeah.
but he's now at this ceiling. What was a major change that you made for Terry that you started seeing results or that started to drive results?
Awesome. So, look, I think the main thing that we need to understand in here is compounding. Compounding is when you your money is working for you or time is working for you, right? That's compounding. In Terry, what we noticed in his situation was he didn't have an audience. He had 1,200 people following him on social media. So he didn't have any organic audience. He didn't have a lot of paid ads results either. So one of the main things, guys, is focusing on creating this base. So one of the first things we did was creating a content distribution strategy. But before that, before creating and starting the content, you need the ideal client. That was the second problem. Terry was a generalist, so he was helping everybody. What we did was niched him down to a specific sample of society farmers, and then the messaging was targeting exactly that in the content. And then on top of that, we started putting specific funnels in place for his business. So the first funnel was a direct to book a call VSL. We put it a bundle, lead magnets, master classes, and we started bringing the and building what we call the ecosystem. So the ecosystem is when your funnels, they start to integrate and to communicate with each other, and they become a self-nurturing machine, right? And obviously, one thing at a time, putting this in place. In the first 3 months, we started having way better results, like 50, 60, 70, 80, we were growing well. But it wasn't until January that we had around like 6 months of really good content distribution and changing the messaging and perfecting everything, that we had the first really big month of 990,000 in 30 days. That was a combination of organic and paid ads strategies. But again, we had an ROI of 20 in that month. And then after that, he's now averaging at around 100, 200, 300 a month. And the main thing that we want to see in here is creating and feeding the existing strategies into the perfect client. Okay. Because if you take and copy and paste a masterclass, for example, is it gonna work? Of course, maybe for you, I don't know. So the masterclass can work, the VSL can work, this can work, that can work if you personalize. So I would say to you that we did a lot of personalization for him.
I love that. So the one of the well, two of that I can recall was the major change was the personalization factors. You created an ecosystem, and also you super niched his business. You know, it was too broad and it kind of extended his reach or visibility.
Yeah.
Another question I had was, were there any resistance from the client to start to, implement these new strategies?
Yeah, a lot. He didn't want to change his strategy. He had one strategy, the masterclass, and he wanted to scale that as guys, this is really normal. We work with this, so we see this all the time. We, as business owners, we had result with something, right? If you've been in business for a while, you've had result with a strategy, and sometimes you can get attached to that. And it's not that the strategy is not going to work anymore. It might work, but sometimes you need to put other things in place to enhance that strategy again. That was what was happening with Terry. So he had a lot of resistance at first in thinking about different funnels or even bringing team members, AI systems. He didn't have any of that. Like, so there was a lot of resistance, but I would say that he had the results because he bypassed the resistances and because he listened to us and like, okay, let's go and implement, let's give this let's trust a little bit more, let's implement. And I think it's going one step at a time with the client as well.
Fantastic. I feel like I had another question for you, but I feel like we covered it. Let me do that over. What role did your system play in helping the client grow to nearly $1 million?
Hmm. So the human AI system, Kay, is a combination of AI, automations, and the human touch, which is team, right? And what we've done with Terry was in that stage in the business, which is very sad for all of business owners. Not sad, is a great opportunity, but it's tiring. You are doing everything by yourself and you cannot stop doing this because you don't have time to train, and you're like forever in this, wheel spinning.
Hamster wheel.
What we've done for him was, let's hire a closer, let's put an AI so we have setters, let's put automations, let's track data so you have safety, let's remove you from the things that you don't need to be. Otherwise, you're gonna, continue holding back the scalability of your business and all these different aspects that we were putting in place, right?
Absolutely. Love that. All right. So, how did you customize your approach for this client, given the client's unique industry? Because he was in a farmer's. Now, I,
Right.
I don't suppose, we have too many of those clients, but what was the unique approach to his business and helping him to grow and scale his business?
I think that I'm gonna answer that with something even more valuable for whoever is listening. How do you personalize a funnel with a sample of society, with your niche? Observing who this niche is and making necessary modifications. So, for example, farmers, they don't have contact with technology so much. They are outside a lot of the time. So we know we anticipate a couple of things and objections they will have, such as I don't know how to use Zoom, so we need to be prepared for that. We needed a lot more human touch because of the technology problems. And sometimes when we want to follow a strategy from A to Z without even thinking why we are doing, we put a strategy in place that is repelling people instead of bringing in the ideal client. So let's say, for instance, we didn't have this mindset of personalization. We were like copy and paste a funnel to funnel. What we would have done was repel the farmer because the farmer doesn't know how to use technology well, right? So if we continue doing what we were doing before, they wouldn't engage with the funnel. So I hope that does answer a little bit your question. I think it's asking who is this client and how can I personalize my funnels to best accommodate this sample of society behaviors, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree. It's understanding who your ideal clients are. It's, just understanding them, how they think, what they're dealing with, what their problems are, and then kind of tailor the system to match that persona, so to speak. All right. I have a few questions for you. What are specific automations or CRM tools did you use to streamline their process and support growth? You
Look,
want
a couple of months ago, we were crazy. We were using different platforms all around. So we were using Active Campaign with Just Call, with Freshdesk, with
Zapier?
yeah, Zapier, planners all over, right? And what this does is a lot of problems, like systems, they have bugs all the time. It happens. So the more places you have to administrate, the more problems you have. And the worst is you take a while to find out where the actual problem is with so many systems. So what we've done the last few years, it took us a long time to put together this our own system all in one. So now our clients are using that system and they have everything they need inside, plus all the templates, plus AI personalization. They have all the toolboxes in any of the funnels they need to implement. It's all pre-ready with all the automations, etc. So that's the type of CRM and all like funnels, etc., email marketing that we've been using today. Yeah.
Certainly. And guys, we have a really great offer, and we're going to give you an invitation to also use that same system as well. So I'm really excited about that, but we're getting there. All right. How do you handle setbacks and unforeseen challenges along the way while working with Terry?
Look, okay, one thing that I learned, and it was like life bringing me a lot of hard things to learn this lesson, is we need to, again, respect time. So one of the phrases we developed here is funnels, they have an expirational date, but foundations in a team, they last forever. So if you have that in your business and if you focus on that, you have success. But what happens is because of this amount of information that we've been receiving saying something like get rich quick in 30 days, we think that we are a failure if we are taking 6 months to scale a business, which is like so good if we compare to our grandparents, parents, the society we were living before. So
Yeah.
the first thing that I would say when thinking about, something is wrong with the funnel, something is wrong with the business, just stop, sit down, breathe, and go through the constraints checklist. I'm going to leave this link below here. This is a constraint checklist to go through, making an analysis like a detective of all the departments of your business to first and most importantly understand where the problem is, because people start acting without understanding the root cause. Where is the problem? Once you understand the problem, what is the plan to execute and change this problem? So it's actually taking things a little bit more structured and thing in one step at a time with planning, execution, collection of data, analyzing, it's relax. You have time.
I love that. And you also touched on this just now. You said a lot of times, people like to act and they don't know where the problem is. And I've spoken to a lot of high ticket coaches, consultants. Oftentimes, when they encounter a challenge, they think they need to create another offer. They're like, this isn't selling. I need to create another offer. I need to create one more expensive. I need to create one more cheap, or I need to lower prices. And they're not really taking that time, as you said, to focus on exactly where the problem is so they can work on it. Of course, when you're building a system, you're trying to mitigate every challenge, try to avoid every challenge as much as possible. But they do come up. Life can throw anything at you, anything can happen, except like you said,
Yeah.
funnels have the expiration date. So you kind of need to take that time and figure out where that constraint in. And I know you quickly run over this, but let's talk about this constraint checklist as well, or if you want to add anything before we talk about the list as well.
No, look, I think that the reality is, Kate, we are we have become a little bit of a superficial society with social media. And
Yeah.
right now, I think the big ask that we are having for all business owners is stop the fluffiness and start looking at the foundations. Because that was one of the podcasts that we recorded together. You said we keep chasing the next trend, the next strategy, and that's the truth. Like if we create our businesses based on trends, what is going to happen is every single day, every single month, you're going to be stressed, burnout, trying to follow the next trend. If you build your business based on strong foundations, even if it takes a little bit longer, all you're going to do is you're going to have a sustainable, mature, safe business, predictable. So it's a choice, but I choose this one because in the end of the day, you're gonna have like 3 months difference, 5 months difference in the growth of your company, but that's gonna be like a really sustainable and good growth.
Absolutely, absolutely love it. And the constraint checklist? Oh,
Oh,
it's a free link.
okay, about that. So look, before acting, all of this was to say, and us to get to this point. So before when you are stuck in a place of okay, my funnels are not working, or my sales calls, my leads are not coming, you automatically you think it's here, it's the lead, it's the paid ads, it's the masterclass headline, whatever it is. But the reality is our business is interconnected, Kate. It's one problem can be caused in another place. So when you stop every single time, every single month, and you do the constraint checklist and you're like, okay, this is what my business is looking like. No fluffiness, no lies. This is the reality. You can make assertive decisions. So we're gonna leave here a couple of links for you guys. The number one being a complete case study on Terry. We're also going to leave other case studies we have. We're going to leave the constraints checklist and the system that we are pre-launching and launching, depending on when you're watching this video. Click below, take a look.
Okay. What advice would you give to other high ticket business who are looking to replicate this approach?
Amazing. The advice is look at the main thing, but focus on how to personalize for you. Okay, never compare yourself 100% with anything. Focus on you and your personalization. So when you see results like Terry, you can start, instead of looking at the fluffiness, look at, okay, what are the, if you go to our case study section, you can do that as a homework. What are the common things that we have between these people? What are the common things that made the result happen? And I'm gonna tell you in advance, you're gonna find niche, you're gonna find create different systems, and you're going to find nurturing and creating a self-sustaining ecosystem. So I would say, focus on consistency, focus on implementing one thing at a time, and focus on being truthful to yourself, to where you're at and where you
Yeah.
truly want to be.
I love that. Being honest with yourself about where you're at, absolutely no fuss. You need a foundation. If your foundation is not correct, everything is going to fall apart. You're going to find, I love that you said the system's going to find in niching messaging and also different systems, but it's really one ecosystem. Even though we're talking about it's going to be different system, it's really just one ecosystem with different automation and different aspects. Of course, you need the human interaction just to make sure everything goes well. At some point, your client may want to speak with you or someone on your team, so they definitely consider having some, human aspect to your system. But you're going to have a VSL, you're going to have these other different, but it depends on what works for you. Everything, you might not need everything or whatever, but like we said, everything is personalized towards your business. What do you want? What kind of business do you want to have? And then you can create a system around that. And go ahead, look at the case studies, see what you have in common with some of the past clients, and what are the solutions that they use, and see if that makes sense for
Yeah.
your business, of course. All
Yeah.
right, so we have a link that you can click and learn more. We're going to have a link to the case studies as well. And that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time.
Yeah.